I'm going to show you how you can create full, complex n8n workflows in seconds from a single prompt in Claude Code. And I can't work out if this has killed n8n or if it's actually made it stronger. Anyway, let me show it to you in action. So I'm here within Claude Code, and I'm going to say, create me an automation that fires every morning and checks how many subscribers I have on my email list in MailerLite, and then sends me a Telegram message with this information. I am going to send that off. It's going to take a couple of minutes for this workflow to generate, but Claude Code is doing all of this itself. Okay, and there we go. You can see it has created that workflow. It's given me the link to see it, so let's have a look. And here is this very basic workflow. Obviously, it can create much more complex ones, but let's have a look at it working. So let's execute, and we can see it's working, it's running, it's connecting to my MailerLite account, which is where I have my emails. It's counting, and then it's sending me a message on Telegram. If I go over to Telegram, and there we go, we have got that message. Now this workflow here was very simple, but it can create very complex workflows. So let me show you how you can use Claude Code to create, debug, edit your n8n workflows. It's not as technical as you may think. Okay, so all the steps in this workflow are within my Applied AI Mastermind. I'm going to be following it along here. If you're a member, then you can also find this and follow along with it. So the first step is to understand essentially how all these tools work together. So we're going to be using VS Code. The reason that we're going to be using VS Code is that Claude Code, when it runs in the command line, isn't that intuitive to work with. The user interface isn't great. So if you're non-technical, it's going to be a little bit hard to work with. However, VS Code makes it very easy, gives you a nice interface, and makes it much easier if you're not super technical. So we're going to be using VS Code. Then inside VS Code, we're going to have your project. Your project is very simply just a folder where everything is kept and where we work. That's it, just a folder on your computer. Then within that folder, this is where Claude Code is going to operate and where it's going to live. And we're going to give it three things. We're going to give it a claude.md file. In fact, we're going to make it create it itself. This is kind of like the context. Like if you're building an agent, you'd give it context to tell it what it should be trying to do, how it should do it, and what the rules are. Exactly the same with Claude Code. Then we're going to be giving it skills. So n8n skills, this is how we're going to teach Claude Code about n8n. It won't know that much about n8n just from the information that's within its training set. So by using this skill, we can give it really specific information, which means it will actually be able to build some good automations rather than ones that just kind of break all the time. And then lastly, we're going to connect it to the n8n MCP, which will allow it to create workflows, to debug workflows, to have a look at all of the automations that are running directly via essentially API, rather than us going in and having to copy and paste JSON and having to translate information between n8n and Claude Code. Claude Code can do it all with the n8n MCP. Okay, so first of all, we're going to want to download VS Code. So simply come to this website here, and we want to download it. It's absolutely free. Download it for whatever machine that you have. So then once you have it installed, we're going to want to open it up. And when you have it opened up, it's going to look a little bit like this. Now, what we want to do next is create an empty folder within our computer, anywhere. I created one on my desktop called n8n Claude Code Demo, and it's absolutely empty. Doesn't matter where you create this folder, just has to be somewhere. We're then going to go open. We're going to find that folder, and we'll open it up. Okay, good. Now let's get Claude Code up and running. So within VS Code, we want to go on the left-hand side over to extensions, and we want to search for Claude Code. In fact, you can see I've already got it up here. I've got it installed already, but you won't have. So all you need to do is click on install and get it installed. Then once it is installed, you will see this Claude logo in the top right. And if we click on this, this is going to open Claude Code. However, you will not have connected your Claude account to Claude Code. So if you send a message, it won't run. So the first thing to do is to go /login. It's going to bring you to this page. You want to sign in with a Claude AI subscription. Don't sign in with an API key with Anthropic. It's going to cost you a lot more. So you want to click on this. You want to go to your Anthropic account or your Claude account and connect it. You will need to be subscribed to a Claude plan, at least a $20 a month one. And we want to click on authorize. And once we've done that, it will say this is all connected, and we can go back over to VS Code. And now Claude will be set up, it'll be working. As you can see, knowing about the right tools like Claude Code and how to use them is one of the most important aspects in the AI world right now. And that is exactly why I put together a list of over 100 of the top AI tools. It's absolutely free, and I update this list almost every day, so you're kept up to speed. If you run a business or you just want to get ahead with AI and learn about all the different tools, then I'll leave a link down below to where you can access this. Anyway, back to it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set everything up. So if we go over to Explorer, you can see we've got nothing in here. So we're going to tell it exactly what we want it to do. So I'm going to say, I want this project to enable me to create full working n8n workflows just via interacting with Claude Code. I am going to give you access to an n8n skill or a bunch of skills, and I'm going to give you an access to the n8n MCP. I also want you to create a claude.md file. Inside should be all of the rules that you should follow when creating n8n workflows. Okay, so I'm just using Whisperflow to enter that, and I need to go in and change n8n to n8n because it doesn't understand my British accent. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to give it access to the skills and the MCP. So we need to create space for the n8n skills. We need to give it access to the n8n MCP. Then also, so it can access our instance via the MCP, we need to give it access to the n8n instance URL, and we need to give it access, or we need to give it our API key. Okay, so now we just need to fill in these bits of information here. So where we are going to find this information is, well, I've got it within here, but I'll leave these two links down in the description below. These are both from the same guy who's an absolute hero creating these n8n skills and n8n MCPs, and they are just links to GitHub repositories. So this is the n8n skills one. So I'm going to come across here and I'm going to put it in the skills section. Then I'm going to grab the MCP one and put that in the MCP. And then what I need to do is I need to put information about my n8n instance. So if I come over to n8n, I need to grab this URL up here, but without anything on the back. So just the root of that URL. Then we're going to paste that in there. And now we need an API key. The API key is what allows us to connect to our n8n instance. It's kind of like the key. So if you give this to anyone, they will be able to access it on your behalf. So I'm going to create a key here. I'm going to call it demo. I'm going to make the expiration no expiration, and I'm going to go save. Now I'm going to delete this because if you have this API key here, you will be able to access my demo n8n account. So I'm going to click copy, come over here, and I'm going to paste that in. Now, before we send this off, I want to change this here to bypass permissions. This means it's not going to ask us every time that Claude Code wants to make a change. It is potentially a little bit dangerous, so just be a little bit wary using it. If you don't see this option here to start with, you want to go over here, you want to go down to general config, and you want to make sure that this section here is ticked. Again, just be a little bit aware if you are running this. So once we've got that, it should know what it needs to do. So we're going to send it off, and we're going to sit back and we're going to let Claude Code do all of the work. Once you have Claude Code installed, if you're unsure about anything, you can simply ask it, I don't understand about this, how does this work, what do I need to give you, what should I do here, and it will do it all for you. So it's going to take a couple of minutes to set these things up, and we may have to come back and change a few things, but let me give it a few minutes and let's see what we get. Okay, so that took a couple of minutes, and now we have it, and we can see that we have it here. So to test that it's working, I'm going to open a new Claude Code window, and I'm going to say, look at my n8n instance and tell me how many active workflows that I've got. We're going to send it off, and it should use our n8n MCP to connect to our n8n instance. This will check our API key is correct, and essentially everything is set up correctly. And it should return back to us how many that I have running in this test n8n instance. And there we go. It says we have 11 active workflows running within our n8n instance, which is exactly what we wanted. And it's using our MCP. Okay, so let's open up a new Claude Code window and let's get it to build something. So I'm going to say, please create me an n8n workflow that will check my emails, and for each email, see if the email is related to a sponsorship opportunity. That is someone wanting me to promote their AI tool or their AI app. And if they are inquiring about this, send me a Telegram message with the details about this inquiry. Okay, so here is an example of one that is genuinely useful to me. This way I can filter through the emails much more easily and get notifications of just the important ones. So you can see it's going over and it's using the tools, using the MCP, and I'm going to give it a little bit of time to go ahead, figure out what it needs to do, and then figure out actually how to build it. And then it should be able to give me the URL of the finished workflow. Okay, so here we go. It's created it. It's telling me some information about it. It's giving me the URL that I can click on to go and see it, and some of the things that I need to have a look at and work through. So let's click on that URL and go and have a look at it. And here we are. And as you can see, this is exactly what we wanted. The email comes in via Gmail. It will analyze it to see if it's related to sponsorship. It likes putting in these code nodes, which I wouldn't do personally, but it makes sense. And then if it is a promotion, then it is going to actually research the company, which is kind of cool, and then send me a Telegram notification. And that's exactly what we wanted it to do. And here I can save it and publish it. But also using Claude Code, if I wanted any changes to it, I could simply ask for a change over in Claude Code and it would make those changes for me. Okay, so let's have a look at another one. So I'm gonna say, please create me an n8n workflow that allows me to capture resumes for a video editor job that I've got open. This should start with a n8n form submission where we capture the name, the email address, the resume, which should be a document that they upload, and any other information. Then AI should have a look at all this information and grade the applicant from 1 to 5 based upon how well the AI thinks they fit the job. Then take all of these and put them in a Google Sheet for me. Okay, there we go. And we're gonna send that off. Now, as you do more of this, you will understand what makes a good prompt and what makes a bad prompt. I could have made this better. What you really need to do is specify the inputs. So which nodes you want to use, where your starting information is, how it will be triggered. Then you want to talk about how you're manipulating the data, and then you want to talk about the output. If you've been through my AI mastermind, then it's basically the same sort of stuff as when you're planning out an n8n workflow. You just want to say, essentially, what it should do, when it should start, what it should do in the middle, what it should do at the end. If you just give it a very, very basic and short prompt, it's not really going to do a good job because it needs information in order to create something that you actually want and actually is going to be useful. Okay, so there we go. It says workflow created. It's given us the URL and told us a little bit about it. So let's go have a look at it. So here we are, and you can see we've got our form submission. It's going to extract the text from the resume, send it to OpenAI, it looks like, and then pass the results and add it to a Google Sheet. Now, the Google Sheet isn't set up because we haven't created the Google Sheet, but obviously that's a very simple thing to do. Now, if you wanted to use a different model, or if you wanted to use like OpenRouter, which is personally my favorite, then you would put this in that claude.md file so it knows exactly what it should do in each one when it wants to use AI, for example. But let's have a quick look. Let's pop this up. And yep, there you can see we've got the basic inputs of the full name, email address, any additional info, and their upload of their resume. So there we go. That is a basic overview of how you can use Claude Code to automatically create and debug, edit any n8n workflows that you want to create or that you already have created. If you want to go deeper with this, then join me inside the Applied AI Mastermind. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.